We are finally fitting the final mod we need to get the ST mapped. It's finally time to get the last mod onto the Focus, which is a Turbosmart actuator. I'm going to need this obviously because we're going to be running more boost pressure. We're going to aim for hopefully 300 brake. Another huge shout out to the guys at BD Performance for sending this over, along with the last video with the downpipe locking bolts. So let's start getting the old one off and we can get this one in. So the first thing to do then is to protect the front bumper, as we will be bent over the entire engine bay pretty much the whole time. Then we can start taking off the wipers so we can then remove the scuttle panel. With the wipers off, I then remove the really annoying clips holding the two scuttle panels together. The top panel can then come off, and then it's just two bolts either end holding the lower one on. With those out the way, I can then access the 6 bolts holding the strut brace on. And that can then be removed. Okay then, with all that off, the only other things to take off then are the intake. I may also take off the turbo elbow just to give me a little bit more room. And then just at the back, all the way down there, we need to take the manifold heat shield off. Once we've got those off, we then get access to the old actuator. Like I said, then we do need to remove the intake, and luckily as mine is the Whizbet V4, it's pretty simple. Once the back line is disconnected, I can then remove the 2 bolts holding the intake on. Next up is the Jubilee clip holding the intake onto the turbo elbow. The MAF sensor needs to be disconnected, and then the intake is finally free. With the intake out the way, I can then loosen the Jubilee clip holding the turbo elbow onto the turbo. I then use my phone to record the locations of the manifold heat shield bolts. As you can see, there is one in the very far corner of the driver's side, another one directly in the middle, and another one on the far corner of the passenger side. I sprayed them all with some WD-40 just to help break them loose. As you can hear, the one on the driver's side and the one in the middle have springs on them, so make sure you don't lose them. There's the first one, and the second, and finally the third one. The heat shield can then be removed. So with those out the way then, as you can see, just straight down there, right there is the stock actuator. So the access isn't too bad. The one thing I will say is it's just you're pretty much bent over the whole engine bay, so it is quite strenuous on the legs. But we need to, obviously this is the bracket that it's bolted onto. We then need to take it off the clasp here, which is connected to the wastegate, and then you've got just a vacuum line just on the end there. Once all those are out, we can take the stock actuator out and then get setting up the new one. So starting with the bracket bolts, I gave them a squirt of WD-40 to help loosen them. Then I broke the top one loose with a 10mm spanner. As you can see, it's a lot of small quarter turns as the space is limited. I then tried to break the bottom one loose with a small ratchet, but it didn't exactly go to plan. So I ended up using a really short 10mm spanner, which worked a treat. Again, it's a lot of small quarter turns as the space is very limited. Before the actuator became too loose on the bracket, I broke loose the locking nut on the rod and unscrewed the clevis. I can then fully remove both the bracket bolts, or at least I thought I could. The top bolt is blocked by the oil feed line for the turbo. I thought I could get away with not removing it, but I was wrong. So I wedged some tissue underneath the line to catch any oil and broke the banjo bolt loose. I didn't undo it all the way out, as I found you only need to loosen the bolt a little bit in order to wiggle the line out the way. With the line out the way, I could then take out the top bracket bolt. But I ran into another problem and ended up fully removing the banjo bar anyway, because I couldn't get the stock actuator out. Eventually I managed to free the stock actuator, and all that's left to do is remove the vac line from the end. A spray of WD-40 and a flathead screwdriver worked just fine. So I just wanted to quickly show you how I got this bottom bolt out, because as you can see the access is not great. What I ended up doing is using this little guy. So it is a 10mm spanner, but it's just really small. The longer ones I had, as you were turning it, you'd just hit like the firewall and all the lines on there. So a small one, even if you have to just chop the end off, if you have got a cheap one that you can sacrifice, but I managed to find this one and it worked great. So managed to get it on there, break it loose, and just turn by turn, little by little, got the bolt out, and then obviously take the oil feed off to pull this out. And now we can move on to the main event. So then let's get on to the Turbosmart. Open the box, you've got your actuator there, mounting bracket, hardware, instructions, and of course a sticker which will get onto the cabinet. So I know a lot of people set these up by just measuring the thread, and where I'm getting it mapped after fitting this, they also have just said, I think it's about 3 or 4mm, I'll have to double check, but I want to set this up properly, so they've recommended it needs to be about 8 psi of preload. Now everyone says you need a mitivac. I had a look, they're like ridiculous amount of money just for basically a hand pump. So I went on Amazon and got this. So it is literally just a hand pump. It does vacuum and pressure, so that's what you need to look out for. There are a lot of vacuum hand pumps out there. Don't get confused, it has to be pressure, so you don't want to be sucking, you want to essentially apply pressure. This does both just by switching this little trigger here. I will put the link to it down below. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put the bracket on, and then I'm probably going to put it in the vise just here, just to hold it, and then we'll attach a hose to there and set it up to 8 psi. Off camera quickly then, I did just quickly build up the actuator. It's pretty self-explanatory really. The rod goes through the middle, you've got 2 washers and 2 spacers that are supplied, so that locks the actuator onto the bracket. And then here at the end you've got the preload nuts. So as you can see, I did just put a little line with a Sharpie on the end one. So that is because per the instructions it says every full turn of that end nut is 1mm of preload. I will test it with calipers when we get onto the car. So the little clasp thing on the actuator in the car will screw onto the end, and then I'll set 4mm of difference, lock it in, and then I'll put the hand pump on the end, and we can test that it is around 8 psi, and then we can tighten it all down and get the car back together. So just to show you what I mean by every full turn of the nut is 1mm of preload. With the nut fully on, I then did 4 full rotations and then measured with some calipers, and as you can see it's dead on 4mm. I did however add another full rotation, as there didn't seem to be much thread for the clevis to hold on to. But the actual thread that's showing did still measure 4mm. So with that set, I can then start fitting the new actuators to the car, and I had already made my first mistake. As you can see, the actuator will not fit with the bracket already connected, so I went and took it back off and fitted the bracket to the turbo first. I got the top bracket bolt on first, which was quite a faff even with the oil line still disconnected. The bottom bolt was even more of a pain, as you literally can't see what you're doing and have to go purely by feel. I finally managed to get them both in, and again it's just small quarter turns bit by bit until they're fully in. I then used a bigger spanner to get them both fully tightened down. Then we can get the actuator onto the bracket and secure it with the supplied washers and nuts. Luckily, these are much easier to get to with a spanner. With the actuator on, the clevis can then be threaded on right up to the first locking nut. I then pushed on a long piece of hose that comes with a hand pump onto the fitting of the actuator and started to pump until I saw the wastegate start to move. So I have the hand pump connected to the end of the actuator where the hose from the boost solenoid would go. As you can see, it's all tightened up at the bottom. Apart from the locking nuts, I will just lock those off when I can confirm it. But if I start pumping, and you'll just about see it start to crack open. There, and just before 10, so I'd say that's about 8ish. So I think we're all good. I will lock it up, do a few more tests just to make sure, but I think I'm okay with that. Again, link to this hand pump on Amazon. You don't need to buy an expensive mitivac at all. So I'll get these tightened up and we'll get the car back together. After redoing the test another 4 or 5 times, I could then lock the nuts together. Then the oil feed pipe can be tightened back down, and finally the vac line can be refitted to the new actuator. Just for a bit of security, I did put on a cable tie, but I'm sure it's not 100% needed. And we are all done, so everything's buttoned up, oil feed line's back on, everything's tight. I did quickly just put a cable tie on the vac line at the end. I don't think it needs it, but it's just in case while I was there. So now we can start getting everything back together. I'll start it up, go for a little bit of a drive. Obviously can't go too heavy on the boost because it's not mapped in. That'll be in the next video hopefully. So let's get this back together and that's job done. So to get it all back together, it's simply the reverse of taking it all off. The heat shield goes back on first, making sure to put the right bolts back in the correct places. Then the turbo elbow can go on next. With the elbow on, the intake can then be refitted. Not forgetting to plug the MAF sensor back in. Finally the vac line can go back in, then we can move on to the strut brace and the scuttle panel. With the strut brace back on, the lower scuttle panel can go back in first. Then the top one. Not forgetting the world's most annoying clips. And finally the windscreen wipers. With all that back together, that is job done. I then took the car for a quick drive to make sure it's all gone back together correctly and all was good. And that is the actuator fitted. Again, a huge shout out to the guys at BD Performance for supplying that, along with the locking bolts for the last video. They're a great bunch of guys. I'll have their link down below in the description box, as well as the link for the actuator. I personally didn't think that was that bad. I thought the reset valve was worse. I think the hardest part is that it's just fiddly and you're bent over the engine bay and it's a lot on the legs. I did consider going underneath at one point to get that bolt, but I managed to get it in the end. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully in the next video we're going to go and get it mapped, reaching for that 300 brake. I'll see you in the next video.